I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie tag as well as a get ready with me, which is why I currently look like hot wet trash. She is red though. My goodness. So I'm going to get ready in my face region while I answer the questions in the tag. I'm hoping this will make me more comfortable talking about myself because I'll have something to do with my hands. So I'm actually filming in my husband's Twitch streaming setup. You can check him out at the Vision X at twitch.tv because I thought this lighting setup he had would do me some favors. Apparently not going to work out that way. So we're going to start with some Smashbox photo finish primer. Am I a beauty YouTuber yet? And while we do that, oh come on girl. While we do that, we'll answer the first question. Why did you start this channel? I've been watching Booktube for a while and it's always looked like a lot of fun. And I wanted to, get to talk about books in the same way that I see all of my favorite booktubers doing. But at the same time, I kind of had that need filled in my life, even though my friends don't necessarily read the same genres that I do. I at least was able to talk with my students about it at school and share in the love of books with them and recommend different books to them. And then last year we departmentalized as a school, which means that certain teachers only teach certain subjects. So I exclusively teach 4th grade math and science, which is great. I love math and science, but I really didn't get to talk with books a lot with my students last year. Occasionally I would, and that would be awesome, but it wasn't a daily thing like it used to be. So I really felt the need to get to do that, and that is kind of why I picked this up. And then just the mind-numbing existential crisis that has been quarantine also encouraged me to pick up a camera and see what we could get on film. Next thing I do is the Maybelline 24-Hour Foundation Classic Ivory. And when we do that, we will answer what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to Booktube. On a surface level, there's not too much unique about me compared to a lot of what's already on Booktube. I'm a white millennial lady who enjoys YA fantasy, and as far as that goes, not a lot unique. The unique thing that I'm hoping to be able to bring, you're probably gonna hear me say this 150 times in this video, and I apologize, but I'm a teacher. An aspect of education, and I forgot my blender, just a second. And we're back. An aspect of education that I've noticed is that the books that are being used for novel studies and read-alouds these days aren't extremely different from the ones that were read aloud and used for novel studies when I was in school, or even when my parents were in school. I feel like that really does a disservice to the amazing books that are coming out every year, both intended for children and intended for young adults. And that in education, because teachers are 80% white women, really, I'm doing collectively, I try to do better at this, but collectively, teachers do a pretty poor job of representing diversity in their classroom libraries and in their read aloud choices. And so if I could really do one thing with my channel, it would be able to spread the word about newer and more diverse options for classrooms, and hopefully get teachers to start including more of those. So in addition to liking Booktube for a long time, I also watch a lot of teacher YouTube channels, and I'm kind of hoping to be the middle of that Venn diagram. That's what I'm hoping to bring. Okay, hopefully that's not terrible. We're gonna go in with some blush now. The Papadome Peach by Too Faced. It smells amazing. Look at what my bangs are doing. Third question, what are you excited about for this channel? Really being able to find people that read the same types of books I do would be amazing. Getting to expand my own horizons as far as genre, because it's something I've kind of done a poor job of in my adult life. We're gonna have to buff that out. Really just, like I said, having that outlet to talk about the books that I'm enjoying or that I'm furious about that I haven't really had access to for a while. I always put a little bit, I saw it in a BuzzFeed video or something a million years ago, but a little bit up here. I don't know why. Okay, bangs, if you could just calm down for a minute, that would be outstanding. We're going to move on to highlighter now, which is Too Faced. I think it's called Pink Diamond, Fancy Pink Diamond. Why do you love reading? Okay, grew up in a situation that was not ideal, and honestly, my love of reading, I mean, I don't remember a time in my life where I wasn't reading books. Like, I was the kid in kindergarten who sat alone, like, in the corner with a book. Really, my love of reading started as a need for escapism, really, to get, at least mentally, out of the situation I was in. Be able to see that there were other things in the world instead of just feeling stuck where I was. Went back to school again and became a teacher. Also, if you're keeping account of how many times I've said I'm a teacher, I had another one. I remember both my first Scholastic book order that I got to hand out and then our first book fair. I was 100 times probably more excited than the kids were. I went off. I spent a considerable amount of the little bit of money that I made in that first year of teaching, buying books both for myself and for my classroom and for my kid. All of those things really contribute to what I love about reading, which is just getting to go to a million different places, live a million different experiences, expand my own knowledge of different people and cultures, and then also just getting to share in that with other people that have read the same thing. Those are all the aspects of reading that I love. Blend it so it's not too severe in here. My next question is, what book or series got you into reading? So like I said, I don't really remember a time where I wasn't reading too much. I remember the ones that stand out to me. I remember, I think for my 8th birthday, like my first chapter book that was given to me, my uncle Mike bought me a beautiful hardbound edition of Peter Pan that had like a ribbon bookmark attached and like the gold foil on the hardcover and like this, it was just gorgeous. I wish I still had it, but I just remember treasuring that book so much. I remember loving series. Like, I had every Roald Dahl book. I loved him. He was my favorite author for the longest time. One Christmas, once my family kind of realized that I liked books, I got like an entire box set of Nancy Drew books. Didn't really get into those, but I also got a box set of the Boxcar Children. Very much got into those. Harry Potter, I discovered when I was 11, so even though it's under some fire now, it definitely drew me into reading in a time when a lot of kids are drawn away from it. What challenges will you face starting a booktube? I know for me, my biggest challenge, because I don't, like, it'll be nice if I get a large amount of people to join with me, but that's not my biggest concern. My big thing, because this is not my first YouTube channel that I've started, this is actually a rebrand of like a teaching channel that I started my first year teaching, which was a really poor idea because nothing is more stressful than that. But my biggest thing is going to be consistency. Right now, I've been working from home. This is my first year not doing summer school. Even now, I don't really know what school is going to look like in the fall. We have like 3 different plans, but all of that is dependent on our county's COVID numbers, and basically just finding the time to make these when I have responsibilities with my job, responsibilities with my family, and to my child, kind of be the biggest challenge for me. But I think if I can kind of get into the habit now and just kind of stay on top of it, plan for it, make this little pocket of time, I think it'll be manageable. One of the things I found in quarantine is I was doing a lot more, I would normally be doing in the classroom, like outside of my regular lesson plans and teaching. Like, we started a school morning news show, and I was editing that and helping produce that, and I was on all these committees, and I was like, really, I stopped watching as like much TV and movies, an effort to read a lot more books, because I found that to be a more calming activity than scrolling through Facebook and seeing a lot of opinions and things that were scary. And really what it showed me is that I've always said I don't have time for certain things, but I do. The time is there. It's how I choose to spend it. And so just sticking with that and remembering that will kind of be my big challenge for myself. Oh, also this is the Smashbox, I think it's Candle Golden Hour Eye Palette. Alright, next question. Where do you read? So, sorry, like for the next question. Without my glasses, I'm I can only see like this close in front of my face, so I keep having to look down. So, where do you read is the next question. I do my primary reading like the hour before I go to bed while laying in my bed. And then I also, one of my favorite forms of self-care is like at least once a week, I will fill up the tub with some delicious bubble bath. I don't know why I said delicious, like I'm not eating it. It smells good, and I will read in there for like an hour, and I love it. And then I also, especially with nonfiction, tend to read that through audiobooks. So when I go on walks or exercise, and then also like when I'm doing chores around the house, I listen to audiobooks on my headphones, and so those are kind of the other places that I read. The next question is, when did you start reading? So I have been told by family that I started reading at 4 or 5. Well, my family situation wasn't 100% healthy. I am lucky in that they did push me to remember the importance of academics and prioritizing that. That is when I started reading. And then as far as an adult, getting back into it, it was really like I started reading a lot of middle grade again, just to find new books for my classroom and share with my students, because at first I was so excited to share my favorites, until reading through them, a lot of them I was like, oh, this is not for kids today. You know, like the world is so different. And that doesn't mean that those classics don't have value and shouldn't be shared as well, but also I think it's important that we make room for stories that meet kids where they're at today. And then as far as like my full, how I read currently, came with finding Booktube, discovering Goodreads, and last year was the first year I set myself a Goodreads challenge, and I met it. It was just 30 books, but that really pushed me to make my reading more consistent and set aside time that was specifically for that. No? Okay. My husband also has these like colored lights, so I can't tell if it's the colored light or if it's my shadow. Oh, we're on our last question. What kind of books do you like to read? Perfect, we're at the finish line here. This is the Smashbox Full Exposure Mascara. Okay, well, my memory card ran out as I was on the final questions. I'm not 100% sure where we left off, but while I was unloading the memory card, I went and did something with my hair, so I feel a little better about that. I probably need to recurl my eyelashes, put on mascara, and answer, what kind of books do you like to read? My whole life, and still, my favorite genre has been middle grade and YA fantasy. I don't know, it just feels like a warm blanket to me, like it's comfort food. Even as my tastes mature and I do find other genres that I like, there's just something about ability to have clearly defined good guys and bad guys, and the good guys win, and the things that don't necessarily happen in the real world, at least for a little bit, when you're reading one of those books, get to experience. As an adult, I have found myself really enjoying a lot of memoirs. I love Malcolm Gladwell's books. Love a dystopia. Not the one we're living in currently, but I love reading a lot of dystopian fiction, usually because there is some form of hope. I don't know, just being able to see that no matter what the situation, human beings will always find something to be hopeful about is kind of reassuring, especially right now. So this has been me doing the Booktube Newbie tag and a get ready with me. Very basic makeup skills. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you want to stick around with me on this Booktube journey. Hoping, out of the concern for consistency that I mentioned earlier, be putting out new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. So look for those coming up, and I will hopefully see you soon. Still don't really have an idea for an outro,